All right, we are live and we got another episode for you guys and we got a very special guest, another Twitch FIFA streamer, also YouTube content creator. Does a lot of great reviews on SBCs, players, squad builders, and also does some pretty good pack openings. So I'm very happy to have him here. Roccoseleven. How we doing?
I'm good, mate. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Doing well. I'm happy to do this podcast and got a big time streamer here with us.
I don't know about big time, mate. You know, it's a big. You can use that. You use that term loosely. Big time. I wouldn't go that far.
So, what would you consider like big time streamer?
uh, it's difficult, isn't it? Like, you know, because I think then again, a big time streamer, you know, you would kind of describe some, like, say for example, you average, I don't know, 20 viewers on Twitch, let's say.
Uh
Then
huh.
to you as a 20 viewer streamer, you would see somebody as 60 viewers, like they're because they're bigger than you. You see them kind of like big time. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. I'd say like big. I'd say big time. You're like looking at maybe 200 viewers, 300 viewers plus, I'd say.
For sure.
But obviously you get a lot of people that, you know, do very well on, say, YouTube, but then, you know, on Twitch, for example, they don't have as many viewers,
Uh huh.
but they're still big time. They're a big time content creator because they've got that, you know, a massive YouTube audience, for example. Um, I think it's difficult to say what constitutes a big time. I don't know. I don't know what
That
like.
that yeah,
mm,
that's a good point. I mean, it's all subjective and it's relative. But me being a smaller guy, I guess I see you as a big timer. You know.
uh, Yeah, I understand. I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Like you, like any. I suppose anybody that kind of like whether they, you know, they have more followers or a bigger viewership than yourself, you
Uh
kind
huh.
of see probably bigger than that person themselves sees themselves.
Right. Hmm.
Sees themselves. That makes sense. Yeah. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I do get what you mean.
Yeah. Mm.
But how has the streaming been? How has the content creating been for you?
So I started off during the original lockdown in the UK. So March 20, what year are we in? 2022. So March 2020. So
Oh wow.
I will
Okay.
be 2 years since I started everything this coming March.
Uh huh.
So yeah, in a couple of months would have been 2 years. And before that, I didn't have any experience of streaming. I didn't have any experience of anything. Like, I didn't even know people streamed FIFA. I didn't even know that was a thing. I haven't played FIFA since FIFA 12, FIFA 11, like when I was younger, when I was like 17, 18. And then obviously I kind of like lived my life and then came back into this pandemic. I was playing FIFA a little bit because I picked up a PlayStation a few years back and I was just playing FIFA a little bit. And then when we first originally got in the lockdown, I started to watch a little bit of YouTube and like basically I was playing Ultimate Team and I wasn't very good. I was like, how do I improve? Typing it into YouTube, finding out. And then I was like, hold on, these people are like doing these YouTube videos. And then I saw in one of the videos, I can't remember for the life of me who it was, somebody mentioned Twitch. And I was like, what the hell is Twitch? I had no idea what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like February 2020, like literally a month before I started. I was like, I have no idea. And then I clicked on this and I was like, oh, this is cool. So I set up a Twitch account. I was like, I want to do it. And I set up my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel exactly the same day. And then I did it as fun. Just started uploading, started streaming. And then obviously it went quite well. My viewership picked up quite fast. I kind of like, because of the original lockdown, I was streaming every day. And then everything kind of, just fell into itself. I learned how to video edit better. I, upgraded my equipment, my software, and then, yeah, kind of that's kind of where we are today. Really, that's kind of the story behind how I started up doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
amazing. So then so you picked up on FIFA 20 and you didn't
Yeah,
play
FIFA 20. Yeah,
you didn't play the previous FIFAs before that?
didn't play
The,
19, didn't play 18. No, the one before that I played was like I don't know, like 12 maybe.
uh-huh.
Obviously, other than the odd game that I'd play, like with friends when I like went around their house and things. Like I didn't own a console myself, so
Uh-huh.
I didn't play it much at all. And then
So,
the thing I remember like was like Scream on FIFA 20. This is when I played it very casually,
uh-huh.
and I just picked it up, and I just remember that score, like the Scream Jekko, I think it was, where
Uh-huh.
he had like the 5-star weak foot. I loved that card, and but I used to play, and I used to get like 7, 8 wins on a weekend league, and this was in FIFA 20. And
Right.
I didn't know any skill moves, didn't know anything like that. And then obviously I got to learn on YouTube. I taught myself these different skill moves, and
Yeah.
then by the end of FIFA 20, I was hitting like 23 to 25 wins on a weekend league.
Oh, wow.
I think.
That's pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
yeah. I went from about 7, 8. Yeah,
So then, going into FIFA 20, you never played Ultimate Team. That was the first
no,
time playing.
yeah,
Wow. That's very interesting.
yeah.
That's like the same for me. That's when I started really getting into FIFA, and when I got into Ultimate Team, I had no idea what was going on.
I had no idea what I was doing. When I first started streaming, I was just pretending I knew what was going on. I get these people coming in my stream asking me questions, and I'm like, I'm sitting there in my head like, I ain't got a clue what's going on. Like, I do not know. Uh, what SBC come out? I'm in my head. I'm thinking, what's an SBC? Like, I ain't got a clue, and I really didn't know. I kind of picked it up as it all went along. That was
Yeah,
just the way it was.
right.
I feel like when you like when you have those, it doesn't matter how big you are. Eventually, like you do get, even if it's 1 or 2 people that will come into your stream every day, and they're kind of like become like your best friends to a degree, and they're the people like that you grow with them. Like they help you out, and like you gain your knowledge from your viewers. Does that make sense?
Right, it does make sense.
I gained a lot of knowledge from FIFA through my viewers, probably more than I did like myself.
Yeah, yeah, that's the same for me when I started streaming. But what made you want to play FIFA 20, and then go into streaming?
So do you want like the entire background behind it?
It's up to you.
Okay,
You can
right.
give us the
Long,
short version or the long version. It's
right.
up to
Okay,
you.
okay. Kind of long story short, I was living
Okay.
in China when the pandemic hit.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So I was teaching English in China. I met my partner out there. Like she's come from England as well. She was teaching out there. We met, and then we like had a house together out there. And when the pandemic hit in February, so I had a PlayStation. I was playing FIFA very casually. This is when I was saying I was watching a few YouTube videos like to learn how to improve, and I would play weekend league like every week. But I would only play like in my spare time, and like I said, I get like 7 wins. So I was probably, I'd say like a proper casual. I probably played, let's say like 10 hours a week,
Uh-huh.
something like that. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe 15.
Yeah.
Um, and then when the first like cases struck in China before like they came into like anything happened over here in like the UK and then the US in January, we got put into a lockdown in China, and that was like really scary. Like the situation in itself was terrifying, to be honest. And
Right.
my partner, she got really scared. So I said to her, look, you go back to the UK for a couple of weeks, until it calms down, so you're safe and you're not worried about everything, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So she went back to the UK, and I was in lockdown by myself in China, and like it was very strict. We couldn't leave, so I started playing FIFA like 20 hours a day because I had nothing else to do.
Uh-huh.
So this is where I like got my improvement, and I ended up watching like YouTube videos consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Twitch actually, I didn't know about Twitch until I came back and I was in Cyprus, but I'll get onto that in a minute. So I didn't know about Twitch, but I was watching YouTube. So I was watching YouTubes on how to trade. I was watching YouTubes on how to get better at the game, and I was obviously bored sitting at home. I had nothing to do whatsoever. I couldn't leave, couldn't go out, so I just played FIFA. And obviously my partner wasn't there, so I was by myself. Yeah, I just played FIFA all day, all night, and then I slept for a few hours, and then I got up and I played more FIFA. So I kind of got used to playing FIFA all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was then in China in lockdown for about a month and a bit. So I played FIFA straight for a month. And in that month, I went from 8 wins to about 16, 15, 16 wins in a weekend league. But like I say, I was playing FIFA all the time, more time than literally you could ever imagine. And then I came back and I went to Cyprus before I came back to England because I wanted to self isolate for a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
just because we didn't know anything about the virus back then. This was before it even hit the UK.
And what time
Here,
period?
obviously.
Like what month was this? What month and
So
year?
that this would have been in 2020, in February.
Okay. Right. Mm-hmm.
So I flew back from China. I had to fly to uh, Thailand to Egypt, then into Cyprus, and
Mm-hmm.
that was the end of February 2020. And then I got back to the UK, or the middle of February 2020. I got back to the UK at the start of March, and then that's when we got put in this like full lockdown, and obviously the virus had come over and
Yeah.
had been carried over by everyone. I didn't carry it. I've never had the virus. Just saying for the podcast.
Uh-huh.
um, And when I was in Cyprus, like isolating, because obviously I was scared, I didn't know what was happening. That's when I picked up Twitch and I saw what it was, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'd improved this all this way on FIFA. I was like, I could make videos on how I improved. I could, you know, talk to people about how I improved. Obviously, I'm good. I've always been quite good with people. I'm always quite vocal, and I,
Yeah.
talk for Britain.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it would be something fun to do, and then I literally started. I ordered a PS4 camera at the time, and yeah, I just started from there. I got the PS4 camera, and I just started straight away. That was literally one day. I turned it on. I made a YouTube video the same day, and I streamed exactly that day, and I just started. That was it,
Wow,
and I've
that's all
never
she
looked back
wrote.
since.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Which part of China were you working at? And how long have you lived there?
Mm. So I lived in China for 3 years in total, in the Hunan province.
Where exactly is that?
Um, hmm, how can I explain it? So like literally like central China, like kind of like I'd say like mm, central south to a degree. So we were like 3 hours on the fast train from the Hong Kong border,
Oh, okay.
but
Wow.
like directly
Uh-huh.
north. So say
Okay.
for example, like the bottom of China's here, and then obviously Hong Kong's right here.
Yeah.
We were like here, like just directly north here, right in the middle in Hunan. It's like the spicy province, so we ate all the spicy food and everything.
I see. Was the area that you're at like close to the coast? Or was it more inland?
Inland. There
Okay.
wasn't. We weren't near the coast. The coast was like hours away. Like
Okay.
literally, we were like central China.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so interesting because I have a couple friends that went overseas and taught English. I actually have like
Yeah,
a friend right
that's what I
now.
was doing. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
so it's so interesting meeting another person that taught English overseas.
yeah. There was a lot of. It was quite like even in just the small city that I was in, there was quite a lot of like English native speakers that had gone over there to speak English to teach English. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a really good experience. Like I absolutely love Asia. I'd only really traveled around Europe and I'd been to America and I'd never been to Asia before. And while we were there, like I went to Thailand a few times, I went to Singapore, everywhere, and like I loved it. My next holiday, when we kind of know we can go on holiday for sure, I'll be going back to Asia because I absolutely love it.
Which country do you have in mind?
Um, I don't know exactly. We've still got a lot of like belongings in China, so we probably would go to China, but then maybe I'd love to go to the Philippines, and that was one place we planned to go to, but we couldn't go to because of everything that happened in the end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you also got a chance to visit other cities in China?
To be honest with you, right, as bad as it sounds, every time we kind of had time off, we decided to go abroad rather
Okay.
than visit. We did go to a lot of places in China, like but it was more where it was convenient. So we went to Shenzhen, which is on the border next to Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we went there a few times, and then we also went to I can't remember what this. It was like. It's like a town on a lake. I can't remember what it's called. It's very famous. We did go to a few places, but I didn't go to Beijing or Shanghai while I was in
Okay.
China. But then again, I hear that Beijing and Shanghai are very touristy and very expensive, whereas China itself is very reasonable in price generally. But obviously, other than the the um the high tourist areas, which is the same in any country, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually got a chance to visit China a couple years ago, and well, my some of
Oh,
my
did you?
friends, yeah, I went to Beijing, and then I went to
Yeah,
like Shanghai for a couple of days. I took the fast train, and it was a pretty
yeah.
cool
That's
experience.
an experience, isn't it? On the fast train, it's cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. You don't feel like you literally feel like you're on a bus, like it's going that slowly, and then you're going like 300 kilometers an hour. It's crazy.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah, but that's awesome that you had that kind of experience like before you transitioned into FIFA.
Yeah, because like now I don't have time to breathe. Never mind time to time to go traveling around. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Now,
but
uh-huh,
I
go
would
ahead.
say to anybody, like I said, I'd say to anybody, it's like if you get the experience to go and travel, even if it's like only for a few weeks, like go for sure. Especially if you're young and you have time on your side, go for it because it gets more and more difficult the more you get locked down into whatever you're doing, whether that's your job, whether that's something you're pursuing. Like once you get locked down, it's very difficult to then take time away from it.
Right, for sure. I totally agree with that too. Have you got a chance to go to like Japan or Korea or other Asian
No, I
countries?
didn't get chat with. No, we didn't go to Japan, Korea. Couldn't go there. We went to more like the no west of China.
Hmm.
Too. We wanted more of like when we were there, we wanted more like heat holidays. So we went to like say Thailand, Bali, got to visit.
Uh-huh.
Bali was incredible. Like say Singapore, Thailand twice, and where else did we go? I can't even think off the top of my head. We went through Indonesia, places like that, yeah. But we didn't go to Japan. Really wanted to go to Japan actually. That's on the to-do list. Have
Yeah, definitely. You have to go there.
you been to Japan, have you?
I have, yeah. I've been to Tokyo, been to
Oh
Kyoto,
wow, yeah.
Osaka. Yeah, you have to go. It's so
Yeah.
like high tech there, and everything's so clean.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah, that's I
gosh.
can imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's like from Fast and Furious, isn't it? Like Tokyo Drift. I can
Uh-huh.
imagine it's exactly like that.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Definitely. Um. Well, I guess we could segue into FIFA now. Talk a little bit about FIFA content. Um. Well, what do you think of actually, what are your votes for team of the year so far? Did you get your votes in?
Do you know? Do you know? I'll be honest. I haven't voted. I've been busy, right? Like, and I'm like, my vote ain't gonna make a difference. Like, and the thing is, I would base my vote on who I'd want to have a team of the year card on FIFA because
Okay, gotcha.
me voting a team of the year, like it doesn't. I'd just vote for the cards I want, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Because why wouldn't I like Lewandowski? 100% deserves a team of the year, right?
Mhm.
But would I rather have a team of the year Lewandowski or a team of the year Mbappe? I'd rather Mbappe.
Right.
Yeah, and the vote's not necessarily. This is where I think like the community kind of like splits. Is
Right.
the vote isn't going to change anything. Like the vote on who wins the team of the year makes absolutely zero difference in FIFA. Like it, I mean, sorry, in real life.
Mhm.
So that's where the votes kind of like you get a lot of people that are like, why are you voting for him? He wasn't even any good this year. Like for example, like let's say CR7, but that's who people want in FIFA. So it's very difficult to kind of say, you're right or you're wrong. Do you get what I mean?
Right. Mhm.
But I haven't voted. Go through your team of the year, and I'll tell you if I agree or not.
Okay. Okay. Well, just to let you know a little background, I don't follow football as much as maybe some other educated fans are. So maybe it's
Okay.
not like the most educated, picks. I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah, that's fine. To
everybody.
be fair,
Yeah,
no, no. I'm saying to be fair, this year because like content creation's taken over, I genuinely haven't had a lot of time to actually watch as much football as I usually would either. So I wouldn't be able to give you a fair vote, let's say, on because I don't know. I don't watch as much football as I used to. A lot of the time when the
yeah,
games are on, I'm streaming, or when the games are on, I'm preparing content for my stream, or
right.
I'm recording or uploading a YouTube video. I don't have time,
Yeah,
and the content for me has to come first.
uh-huh, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
So
Um, yeah, my 11 is I got Donnarumma at keeper. I got
good on
Cancelo.
FIFA.
Yeah, Cancelo, Diaz, Marquinhos, and Trent. My midfielders, I have to put Sonaldo in there. Me being Korean and all, that's like a biased pick that I got included in there. And then I have Conte, KDB. I have Lewandowski, Salah, and Messi. Those are my 11.
So you got your so yours is actually like very Premier League oriented, really, isn't it? Especially in the midfield.
Yeah, now that I
Yeah.
think about it, yeah, most of them are Prem. You're right.
I can't remember. I was reading something on Twitter. Someone was saying that they don't think the Premier League midfielders will win it. To be honest, I don't know. Like people are a lot more clued up on who actually will win it more than I'd like Marquinhos to get a card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know exactly. I don't know where what people's opinions lie on it because do they add Italians? Do they go because they won the Euros? Is that a big deal? Does that mean like they should go more towards the Italians rather than domestic? Like realistically, Messi has to be in there. No, he won the Ballon d'Or.
Right.
It's I don't know. I think sometimes it becomes a very argumentative subject. The team of the year, especially like people's votes. Like I've seen before in the past, like last year, like a lot, like people posting their voting choice on social media and then getting completely slated for it. And I'm like, well, what difference does it make to you who people vote
Mm-hmm.
for?
Yeah.
You
Right.
vote for who you want. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
but I probably won't even get round to voting, to be honest.
All right.
But I hope it's Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, Mbappe as the extra vote. That's my dream.
Same here. I want those players too. I want to pack one of them.
Yeah, I want to be. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Lewandowski will be cool. He will be cool, right? But his cards are always they're good for a bit, and then they're just not good enough.
Yeah.
I don't know what he just doesn't suit the FIFA meta.
Right. Yeah, he really doesn't. And that's
No,
interesting
he just
too.
doesn't.
Yeah, that's an interesting point you make. Like, I don't really know what the criteria is for the team of the year. I mean, people say like it's yeah based on how they played, but are we counting like nation play, national play or domestic play, And then there's another
What's
side
the
where
biggest one for it? Yeah.
uh-huh, and like there's also the another factor like you said, like people picking because they just want that player in the game. So it's
Which
just
is what
like
I'm gonna do. But
and that's
yeah,
fair. That's fine. That's like totally fine with me. Yeah.
I'm honest at least.
Yeah, for
I'm not
sure.
sitting there trying to say, oh yeah, like I don't know. Like I mean, I think I've seen a lot of like Bruno Fernandes in people's votes, and like I don't understand. Like, but then again, it's the team of the year, isn't it? So at this time last year, he was actually performing very well.
Mhm.
That's what makes it more difficult because it's not based on the season, is it? It's based on this time to the end of the year, which is kind of a mix between two seasons.
Right.
God knows. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I've also seen you do a lot of like unique squads. Like the last video I saw was you playing with 2-star weak foots.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's like a fun team to play with. It's very interesting.
Yeah. I kind of like it's very difficult to be unique on FIFA nowadays, especially in terms of like the content creation side of things, because people have been doing it for so long, like all ideas have kind of been exhausted.
Hmm.
And it's very much the same right now that I find, if there's a player SBC drop, it's like a race to get out a player review. Everyone's like throwing out a player review.
Yeah.
And because I'm streaming at the time, I'm not going to end my stream to go record a player review. So I think to myself, I'm just trying to think of like unique ideas that I can do involving the SBC cards, because I do all the SBCs anyway, because obviously I, open a lot of packs and things daily. So I thought, well, Ziyech is this big thing about him to being a 2-star weak foot. So let's try and win a game of foot champs with a team
Hmm.
of 2-star weak foot players.
Yeah.
And it also gives me a chance to use a variance of different cards
Hmm.
rather than just using the same cards over and over, which I do like to do for my, more difficult games in weekend league. Don't get me wrong. But like for the first like 10 games or my qualifying or rivals, I'm more than happy to try out different teams. Plus sometimes you find these hidden gem players that are actually like really good in game, better than you'd think they would be anyway.
Hmm. Yeah. And do you for yourself run like multiple accounts, like maybe a pay to win account or RTG account?
I don't actually run an RTG. I run two accounts. So
Okay.
my original first account was like my main account, and then I had a second account which I ran to, and I just kept a coin balance on there. So I played at like rivals for champs and like saved up and sold all the players and used that account to run player reviews and things. 'Cause obviously, you lose a lot of tax on player reviews.
Right.
And on my main account, I do packs every day, so my coins like drop very quickly. So I needed a second account to run player reviews. And also, I got to the elite division very early on my main account, which it was very difficult to record player reviews in the elite division to begin with,
Hmm.
because at the start it was literally just like elite 1, elite 2 players from last year and pros. So I needed to make sure that, so I got my second account into like division 2, for example, and then I recorded my player reviews in Division 2 to start with. But I'm not using my second account that much at the moment. I am a little bit, like I'm doing all the icon swaps on that account because I took all the fodder packs on my main account, but now I'm using my second account to do like I think I'm going to get like the 17 tokens or whatever and do the mid or prime icon pack like as extra content.
Hmm.
So different things like that. But yeah, I run two accounts, which I play weekend league on both most weekends.
Yeah. Man, that's a lot of grinding. It's a lot of grinding playing on two
Yeah,
accounts and
it's a
going
lot.
for all
It's
those
a lot of
swaps.
hours.
Yeah,
It's a lot
I
of
bet.
hours.
I bet. Well, one thing about your content that I like, that kind of stood out was when you, like some of your videos for your SBCs, you do it like a minute long, which I kind of like. It's like short and sweet and straight to the point.
Yeah. So what I like to do is at 6 p.m. give my opinion on a card, right?
Hmm.
Like because I don't feel like you can gain a full understanding of whether a card is good or not by just playing like one game with them or
Right.
one or two games with them. It's basically just like looking at the card. I could tell you, like I'm not an incredible FIFA player. I'm a good FIFA player. I would say I play to a good standard. Um, I can tell you basically whether a card is good or not by looking at it, and
Hmm.
I can also tell you based on the squads that it costs. Excuse me, the squads that it costs. I can tell you whether it's worth it or not. So, and people are searching for that. People want to know, oh, is this player worth it? Should I do this player? Because before I watched Twitch regularly and I got into like the Twitch YouTube world, I used to search things like that, like which SBC should I do? Is this SBC worth it? So I thought, well, why not? I can give an opinion and help people. And it's some people just like to watch a short video. They don't want to watch a 10-minute video.
Right.
They'd rather just watch a straight up opinion of somebody that plays FIFA regularly and knows basically what. Well, think I know what
Mhm.
they're talking about,
Mhm. Yeah.
And so for me, I thought that was a good idea to do.
Yeah.
So I usually do that. I usually do a video at 6 p.m. about the card, and then I will do another video in the evening or the following day again about that card. So for example, today they dropped Pato.
Yeah.
I did a 6 p.m. video on whether I think the card's worth it. And then I have already recorded a like 500,000 coin squad builder around Pato.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I built the squad around him, and then I then use him in that squad in a game of like division rivals. And I might even run 3 videos on the same card, and then do like, is the SBC, should you complete the SBC? Because I feel like this is a card that people are going to want to do
Mhm.
because Pato is Pato.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's usually what I do, and I like to kind of have a variance in my content as best as I can.
For sure. Yeah. Now, what are the top SBCs so far that you liked in this game?
Gelson Martins is my favorite card this year.
Okay.
Let me have a look. Actually, I've got FIFA up here so I can see because I've done like every SBC on the game.
Right.
Gelson Martins. I liked Verratti a lot. I thought Verratti was a really, really good SBC.
Okay.
And actually, this Pato is very, very good from first sights.
Mhm.
The cards they dropped yesterday, Miriam and Darmian, like they're both very good. I've enjoyed using them as well. Darmian seems like a very, very good fullback, and in terms of the Serie A, I think the biggest place they're lacking is like in forwards,
Mhm.
and the what's his name, Muriel, seems to be solving that problem because really, really good, really nice card.
Mhm.
But yeah, my favourites this year are Gelson Martins and probably Verratti in terms of SBCs. I'm trying to think off the top of my head which SBCs are still in my starting 11. Oh, Zaha I really like as well.
Oh, okay.
I think Zaha's really good. Yeah,
Okay.
Zaha. I
Zaha.
dropped Vinicius Junior's Player of the Month for Zaha.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
Uh, I think that's it. Thinking about it.
What do you think of
From
Fakir?
the...
Any thoughts on Fakir?
Do you know what? I wasn't a fan of Fakir. I just didn't like him. Obviously,
Uh-huh.
everyone loves Fakir.
Yeah.
And when I play against him, he's a pain in the ass to play against. Like, really is. Like, he just works.
Mhm.
But I just didn't like him. I don't know why. I just really didn't enjoy using him.
Mhm.
Not didn't enjoy. I wouldn't go as far as to say, oh, I hated the card. But he just wasn't. I don't know. It just doesn't. Maybe it just doesn't suit my style of play. You get those cards that aren't
Right.
just aren't for you.
Right.
And yeah, potentially he's that one for me that just wasn't for me.
Mhm. Now, do you have any SBCs that you don't like that are on the bottom of the list?
Our
Really? Okay.
our yeah.
That's an interesting
I
one.
got a lot of hate for that because I
Uh-huh.
posted that on Twitter that I said, yeah, he's terrible. And I also posted on Twitter that I think Vinicius Junior is terrible. He's player of the month.
Wow, okay. Uh-huh.
I dropped him to like into my reserves. Um,
Now, is that just based on
but
play or for value too that you have to spend to get them?
no, I just base it on play because
Okay.
I usually do most SBCs with just fodder. So I don't ever sit there and say, oh, this SBC was so expensive. Like, it was a massive waste of coins because he was so expensive. If they're not very good in game, then that's what I will judge it on, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I did, what else did I do? Well, I did Salah's Player of the Month, so that cost me a
Okay.
fortune. I did,
Right.
and then I packed his headline as untradeable. So that was like the biggest waste of fodder ever. So then I put Salah in the icon in an icon pack because I was like, what's the point in keeping him?
Right.
Like, there's no point in having his Player of the Month when I've got his headliner that's going to improve.
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest waste of coins because I packed his headliner.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I think our and Vinicius Junior were the ones I was most disappointed in.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
because like they were quite expensive SBCs and everyone was like saying, "Oh, these SBCs are so good," and I was like, "Yeah, I can't wait to play with them," and then I didn't like them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this game is a lot of like personal like opinions on cards. Like some cards, people are, oh my god, he's amazing, and I'm like, are you joking? Like I've used that card, like he was horrific.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's down to personal opinion. What about you? Are you a big SBC man or not? Do you do a lot of them?
I do only some of them that I feel like is like a bang for my buck. That's like good
Yeah,
value. And generally, I don't like spending coins for SBCs.
yeah,
So I'll just like kind of like be very picky about it. If I feel like, oh, I think this is a good value card, and I have a lot of fodder at that time, then I'll do it. You know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I haven't done too
I
many
get that.
SBCs. Yeah, I've the guys that I've liked so far are like I did the Zaha, I did Fakir. I actually did a flashback Conte. So that one's at the time was a little bit more expensive.
Hmm.
Yeah, those are the ones I could think of off the top of my head. Yeah.
For Kante, I actually said to everybody because I kind of like reviewed both in like the same video, so I kind of did like a Kante versus Kante kind of thing,
Mhm.
and I had his gold card untradeable.
Okay.
So that was kind of like the only SBC that I didn't do because I was like, it's absolutely pointless for me. Like I
Right.
won't even use them, and I won't even use it. Like some SBCs I just do even if they'll never make my team because I'm like I'll use them on swaps. If
Yeah.
there's like a Bundesliga SBC, like I did Brandt for example, like his headliners,
Uh-huh.
who would never ever make my main team, but I'll use him for the Bundesliga swaps whenever I do it in the next
Right.
couple of days.
Yeah.
So at least I'll get some use out of that card.
Yeah.
Whereas the uh, the flashback Kante, I would never use over his gold card, and obviously I can't play them both in the same squad. So that was one that I just kind of like was like I'm just wasting my time doing this card, you know. So I just didn't bother.
For sure. Yeah, if I had a
But
gold Conte, I wouldn't have gone for the flashback either. Makes total
yeah,
sense.
I
Yeah.
feel like the flashback was a good SBC to do for people at the time because
Uh-huh.
Kante I think was about half a million at that point. Um, whereas the yeah, and the SPC was cheaper, but obviously nowadays with Kante being the price he is, you just pick up his gold card, wouldn't you?
Right. Uh-huh. Yeah, he's still a really good card. Like he's still in my main squad, so I still use him.
Yeah,
So I would feel like that was a good investment.
yeah, I'd say so, especially if you're still using him.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure. So what's like who's in your main squad right now? Who's your starting
Well, I've
11? Your super
well,
subs?
I've right. So I'm the sort of person, yeah, that I just play absolute like the most meta cards possible, and I just love 5-star skills.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna go with what I've changed to because I feel like it's much better than me saying that I had Kimpembe and Marquinhos still as
Mm-hmm.
my two gold centre backs, but I don't have them anymore. So
Okay.
I packed Koulibaly's headliner,
Oh,
and
nice.
I had Cordoba untradeable in the club, his hero card for ages. And I was like, well, I've got these two in the club. I'm using Kimpembe Marquinhos, and then I packed. I also have Winter Wildcard Spinazzola,
Oh,
the
nice.
left back,
Okay. Uh-huh.
and I completed the Darmian SBC, the right back, and I was like, I'm just going to run this. And I also have Barella headliners untradeable, and these were all just sitting in the club. I was like, I'm just going to use them.
Mm-hmm.
So I set up in a 4-5-1, and I use actually Casillas in goal because I packed him in an icon pack,
Mm-hmm.
and then Cordoba and Koulibaly as my two centre backs. Right back, I'm using that Darmian. Left back, I've got that Cornet, his rule breaker. Am I right in saying? You know the guy that strong links to Zaha from
Yes.
the Ivory Coast in the Premier
Mm-hmm.
League. Is it
Yeah.
Corn? Is it a rule
Cornet?
breaker? Is his card?
I
Yeah,
think it's a rule breaker, yeah.
yeah. His 84 rated card. That's my left
Mm-hmm.
back because he's strong links to Zaha on the
Right.
left.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got at the moment. I mean, I was using that Payet headline as well because I really liked it. But
Uh-huh.
mainly I use Cristiano Ronaldo, Eusebio's baby, who then strong links to Gelson Martins on the right hand side, and then I use Kante as well. So I use Kante and Barella at the moment as my DMs, and then Eusebio and Ronaldo as my strikers, with Zaha and Gelson Martins on the wings.
That's a hell of a team. I like that
But
team.
before that, I was using, because I've got Prime Rooney untradeable,
Uh huh.
who I was using as a box-to-box centre midfielder before Barella.
Yeah.
So I've got Rooney on the bench. My squad's like, my squad is disgusting. Like, it's very difficult to put together a starting 11 because I have so many cards.
Who would be your super subs behind that 11?
So I don't really like Salah, even though I've got his headliner. I'm not a fan. Usually I bring on. So I've got Rule Breakers, Corona, 5-star, 5-star. I bring him on for one of my strikers. I
Okay.
bring on, depending on the game and my opponent, I'll either bring on the numbers up Insigne for like pure pace,
Mm-hmm.
or I bring on player of the month Vinicius Junior on that left hand side, just purely depending on my opponent, whether I need more pace or whether I need more skills. And then
Okay.
on the right, I either bring on George Best, Salah, or recently I've been bringing on Ziyech, his new card, obviously, who I completed the thing on. So yeah, Ziyech usually comes on
Okay.
because I feel like he's really, really good. It's just a weak foot sometimes in scary situations. You're like, shit, he's gonna miss, but he actually doesn't.
Okay.
It's quite good.
You have the mid George Best, the SBC one.
Yeah, I completed the SBC. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh yeah, name me an SBC. I've done it. Even the icons, I've done them all.
And then the Sabio, how'd you get him?
I got Eusebio in a baby icon pack.
Wow.
Yeah, my entire team's untradeable. My entire club's untradeable. Other than Corona, the rule breaker, he's the only card that I bought, and I still will not sell him because he's incredible.
Mm-hmm. And how many coins
He's
do
one
you
of my
have?
favorite cards
Uh-huh.
right now. I don't know, I like 800k or something right now.
Are you saving
But
up
I've
for
done like
anybody?
50 player picks today. So no, I just spend all my coins on content.
Oh,
I only
okay.
have untradeable players. I don't buy
Okay.
anyone in my team.
Okay.
So I only upgrade my team when I pack somebody like
Mm-hmm.
new from SBCs.
Wow.
My club's all about, well, everything is about, my content really. I
For
do
sure.
it. I literally sell my soul for content. It's quite depressing, really, thinking about it.
Do you spend money on the game too? Like FIFA points?
Yeah, I have to, yeah, because I do so many packs on a daily basis. I have to keep my club stacked up, but I don't spend FIFA points and things like in the way that other like streamers do to a degree. Like, I don't do lightning rounds and things.
Uh-huh.
I do like 7.5k packs with FIFA points, and I do the 25k packs just to stock my club up so that I can do like player picks and things every day. I also use the FIFA points to do a lot of drafts and things off stream to like, so I do additional like grinding off stream, and then I do a lot of BPM as well, which I put into the bronze upgrades, into silver upgrades to help me with the league SBC grind, etc.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like I do a lot to make it as cheap as possible for me to create the content that I want to create.
Mm-hmm.
Which is actually really difficult to do, but yeah, I find if I spend an hour doing bronze pack method and I spend then an hour doing the bronze packs to silvers to golds, I will save maybe, I don't know, £10, or for you lot, like $10 worth of
Yeah.
FIFA points that I would have to
For
put
sure.
on
Yeah.
by just spending that extra bit of time doing it. And obviously trying to do it full time and trying to make a career out of it, I have to kind of be as clever as I can, let's say, without kind of blowing all my money.
Right.
And I also don't like to spend too much money on stream, because
Okay.
I don't really want, like, I don't not that I have anything against anyone that spends a lot of money on stream at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like personally to give off the impression that you need to spend a lot of money to have a good team, or you need to spend a lot of money to get viewers on Twitch, etc., etc. I
Yeah.
don't want to portray that image, especially to my younger audience that I have.
Yeah.
Like, if they ask me, you know, where do you get your coins? I tell them, obviously, I spend money on the game, but I don't like to, you know, flood it on stream. Okay, if
Mhm.
there's a new promo, yeah, okay, maybe I'll put 12k FIFA points on, you know,
Mhm.
and, you know, open some promo packs. But the majority of packs that I open are smaller packs that, you know, I can build my club up and create content from, rather than spending like £15 on a 100k pack and getting an 82 raid card.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I run a RTG account too, so I don't spend money on the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just grind, man. I got grind for objectives or, you know, whatever, SPCs, whatever I need to do to
Yeah.
yeah.
The worst part is, like, I spend loads of money, but I still grind all the objectives, and I think I've done every objective, every silver star. So, like,
Uh-huh.
I still spend ridiculous amount of money, but I still grind the game completely as well. You know.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I'd gain any like self worth from myself if I'm just like, if I all I did was pump money into the game. I
Right.
also like achieve like high ranks in foot champs as well. Not that I get any good rewards ever,
Yeah.
but I try.
Uh-huh.
I make sure I get all my wins in rivals each week. I make sure I finish the highest possible rank in champs, qualifying, everything, in order to get, even if it's one extra pack that can, you know, help me out with my content. That's what I'll do.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, for me personally, I just don't like spending money on the game. I was never the type to spend money on any type of games, so
Yeah.
it's not in my nature to do that. But on the
Mm.
flip side, then I would have to like grind a little bit to get the cards that I want or get some coins, And I tried to like understand the market and try to be a trader, but
Yeah, yeah,
I haven't really done a good job with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not a very good trade. I'm not a very good trader. Don't worry. But yeah, I like. I have to admit, if I wasn't like creating content, like for in my Twitch stream, my YouTube, I probably wouldn't spend any money either.
Okay.
Maybe like, you know, a very small amount of money here and there, but I wouldn't spend money either. I only spend money in order to. I see it as like an investment. It's like a cost of sale to me. It's like, you know, a way of entertaining my stream in the best possible way that I can.
Right. Makes sense cuz well, you're like a full-time content creator, right?
Yeah.
Or trying to be.
Well, try to be. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
trying to be.
yeah. Well, right now you're just putting all your time into this, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it does kind of make sense. It's like a business expense where you put a little bit of money, so in return, you could,
Yeah, it is. It
yeah,
is. It's a cost of sale, isn't it?
yeah,
It's like, you know, it's like my fuel that I put in my car to get to work. Like, you know, that's
yeah.
and like you can still create content and, you know, do well by not spending money. Of course you can. There's loads of people that do,
Mhm.
but I would say nowadays it's more difficult to grow a stream or grow whatever quickly without, like, you know, menu content. I feel like menu content's
Mhm.
very much taken over the
Mhm.
last, like, maybe since I started. Actually, when I first started, it was kind of a bit of, you could do whatever you wanted, like in the height of FIFA 20, like menu content, gameplay content, people didn't really care as much. But I feel like
Right.
now it's very much menu. Not actually, not so much this year, because I don't think the pack animations as fun. But last year, say for example, when like my viewership was growing, say I had like 50 average viewers, when I was like menu content, the minute I'd literally load into a game, I'd drop down to like 30, 35, something like that. Like, that's how crazy like it was for menu content last year
Mhm.
compared to before. So it is more difficult, and people aren't interested as much in gameplay anymore. I think there's a lot of issues with the game, like, and, you know, people
Yeah.
don't like the gameplay, and uh, all like, it's also, if you're heading a game like Rivals, Foot
Mhm.
Champs, a lot of there's not really a fun game mode anymore. Like, it's all very much locked in, and it's a lot more difficult to keep up with your chat, to talk to your community if you're locked into a game.
Yeah.
and I find that difficult myself. Like
Yeah.
because I'm so used to menu content, I literally try and read every single message I get. And sometimes when the chat's really busy, that's very hard to do. And if you're doing
Right.
gameplay, it's impossible to do.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, that's the kind of why I've tried to, but it's tough. It's tough to kind of know what to do to
For
make it
sure.
work. If that makes sense.
For sure.
And I
Yeah.
feel like
Even.
different things
No.
work for different people.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. I mean, even for me as like a FIFA consumer, um, yeah, I have put more focus on menu SBCs too. Like I'm like paying more attention to it and like value of the cards or like value of certain objectives, like how much time you have to spend on it, how that affects the market. So I'm like, I guess this FIFA I've been more in tune with that, or I try to be with the time that I have. So it's interesting that you bring that up because that's kind of like my mindset too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's difficult for people, and the thing is as well, like people don't have the time, and people had a lot more time last year, so people kind of want their content all in one place, and they want it like they want the best content there and then. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
For sure. Yeah. Well, for the last part of our podcast, because it's almost been an hour now. Um,
No,
yeah, time
flown
just
by.
flew. Yeah, exactly. When you're in a good conversation, just time just kind of flies.
Yeah, no, it does.
um, but I want to ask, like, what are your goals as a content creator? What do you want to strive for? And yeah.
Um, I've never really been like one of those people that's like, like at the end of the year, I put on like Twitter, like, these are my goals for the next year. I don't like to do that because
Okay.
I don't feel like that's under like my control. Like, I don't want to sit there and say I want to hit this many followers because I don't think it's under my control how many followers I hit, especially on like a platform like Twitch. Like even on YouTube as well. Like I could post the 2, 3 videos a day and still not hit the targets that I want to hit, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't like to like disappoint myself. Obviously, I do want to get partnered on Twitch. That's something
Okay.
I'm striving for.
Uh huh.
Um, the and it's I feel like FIFA was like very slow at the start of the year this year, and it's like kind of growing now. It's getting back to kind of where it was. I feel like the hype of Team of the Year is there a little bit, and people are a little bit more, there.
Yeah.
So I probably like will reapply because I did apply for partner at the end of FIFA 20, and I got declined at the end of FIFA 20. When I was like averaging about 90 viewers.
Yeah.
So the and then I kind of thought, well, I'm just going to wait now until hopefully anyway I get my viewership back to kind of where it was a little bit, and then I'll reapply. So I do want to get a partner on Twitch, and I kind of have like personal goals for like things like YouTube. Like I do want to hit a certain amount of subscribers, but I
Yeah.
think the biggest goal for me is I want to keep myself motivated to like keep going. Um, Stay like organized and consistent with like my uploads and my schedule of streaming YouTube uploads, and just like work as hard as I can on it. They're like my biggest goals. Instead of saying, oh, I want to hit 10,000 followers, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I just want to be consistent in my uploading and streaming, work as hard as I can for it, and keep myself motivated as possible. They're like the
Yeah.
three main things for me in terms of what I want to do as a creator. And I feel like they're the things that everybody needs to focus on themselves
Mhm.
if they want to push and be the best person they can. I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great point. And I'm sure the growth will follow after that, as long as you're doing those three things that you mentioned.
Yeah, because it is true. Like, you can't dictate how many people decide to follow you. Like, you can't. All you can do is but you can dictate posting. Say you post on YouTube 3 times a week. You can dictate that you post on YouTube 3 times a week.
Right.
Or you decide you want to post 4 times a week. Only you can decide whether you post 4 times a week or not.
Mhm.
That can't be dictated by somebody else. Whereas whether people follow you or not is not down to you.
Mhm. For sure. Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Well, I want to also ask, like, What's like the hidden criteria to being a Twitch partner? Because I know it's more than just hitting those minimum requirements that they ask of you,
Uh, well,
right?
actually, the big one, because once you are like get affiliated, it's quite easy. But the biggest one is you have to hit an average of 75 viewers concurrently
Mm-hmm.
through a 30-day period.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing. But obviously, Twitch take other things into consideration. They take into consideration your sub count, your returning subscribers, your returning viewers, and everything like that. They take a lot of things into consideration when considering you for partner.
Oh, okay.
Like it's not just a case of like, oh, I've hit this many viewers, I should get accepted. Like it doesn't work like that. They
Oh, I
do take a
see.
lot of things into consideration.
Mm-hmm. Do you happen to know what you need to do to hit partner?
Well, when they responded to my original partner application, they just said,
Uh-huh.
look, everything like, it seems to be going well with your channel. We just want to continue monitoring it because obviously I'd only just started to hit those numbers, like
Okay.
the very very good viewership. Before that, I was growing. I went from 50 to 60 to 70, and
Yeah.
then I hit like 90 viewers for like 28 days, averagely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I kind of like said to them, like, they just basically said we want to monitor that your progress keeps moving in an upward direction.
Yeah.
And I was actually very confident that that was going to happen, especially with the release of FIFA 22. But I feel like, yeah, with the end of this year coming out of lockdown, and I don't think as many people are having as much fun on FIFA as they did last year to a degree. And
Okay.
obviously, people are back at work, people have less time. So, yeah, like numbers kind of dropped a little bit.
Okay.
Not just for myself, but for like a lot of people. So
Uh-huh.
I kind of, held back reapplying for partner now, and I'm kind of just waiting and just keep pushing out content on different platforms, and then just hoping that my numbers will get back to where they were, and then I'll reapply. So I think if I get back to a point where I'm averaging the 75 minimum, then I should be able to get accepted for partnership.
For sure. Yeah. And I hope you get there, man. I hope you get there soon.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's been an hour. I think it's a good time to wrap it up. So, Rockos, I really do appreciate you coming through and doing this, man.
No, anytime. I actually had a really good time. Like, it was good to catch up and like chat to you. Obviously, I've been in your streams there, a few times, and
Mm-hmm.
caught up with you and things. But it's different when you actually get a chance to speak to somebody. I know it's kind of like your podcast, so you're kind of asking me questions, and it's a bit more than just like a chat. But I feel like it's just basically been a chat, hasn't it? We just have to, because obviously like we're a little bit out of sync. We have to make sure like that each other are finished when we're
Right.
talking.
Yeah.
But but yeah, other than that, no problem at all, mate. No, I'm always happy to do things like this. I think it's good for everybody, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see anything any sort of collaboration you do in any way, shape, or form is never a negative. It's only a positive. Whether
Right.
whether you pick up one person that even knows who you are, that's
Mm-hmm.
perfect for your content creation. Like, it doesn't even matter. Plus, you get closer to people in the community, and that's what I find also is very important in this sort of industry, is knowing people in the community.
100%. And you couldn't have said it any better, man. Where can people find you for those of the people that don't know you?
Everywhere. No, I mean mainly. So I stream on Twitch every day from 5:45 UK time. I
Uh-huh.
usually take one day off, like I don't know, once a month,
Wow, what, only
maybe.
once a month?
Yeah, I only take time off when I need to. So if it's like a
Oh, wow.
birthday or
Uh-huh.
a special occasion or something, otherwise I stream every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also my YouTube channel, I upload to YouTube at least twice a day, most of the time 3 times a day. Um, yeah, Twitter. I'm a lot more active on Twitter now. Ish. I'm trying to be more active on Twitter because I feel like I'm not. That's like a platform that I lack on. Also, TikTok. I post on TikTok like 3 times a day.
Yeah, what's your handle for like Twitter, Twitch?
Roccoseleven on every platform.
Okay. on Twitter it's Roccoseleven and then the number 11, right?
Yeah, I need to
That
get that changed. I
okay.
originally I set up my
Uh-huh.
Twitter and then I changed my email and I closed that Twitter for some reason. So I had to put Rocco's 1111. But if you type Rocco's 11, it just comes up anyway. But I do
Oh,
need
okay.
to contact Twitter and ask them to remove the 11, I think.
Okay, for
Yeah, that's
sure.
something I'm going to look into. Yeah, if you learn something,
Yeah.
you learn something that you need to do every time.
Well, I'm glad I could remind you on that. Yeah, so we'll
Thanks.
drop we'll drop the links in the description below so you guys could check them out, and please do follow and support him, and let's get him to a partnership. So if you could stay after the live session a little bit so we could have a little chat, but we'll end it
Yeah,
here.
no worries, man.
Yeah, we'll end it here, and thank you guys so much for coming around.